I'm making a video response to Blake Bliss's talk about Robin Williams' death. Robin Williams was like the most amazing man ever. He made me laugh. He was like the pinnacle of my childhood. He was such a great guy, and like I always knew that he struggled with clinical depression, addiction, going in and out of rehab. But like he always put a smile on everyone's faces, and he always seemed to have a smile on everyone's face, on his face. And the saddest thing about it is deep inside, he was never really happy. And I've struggled with extreme clinical depression. I'm bipolar, and um, yeah, I just I don't understand how like some people are like, "Oh, I lost all respect for Robin Williams." It's like, well, you never knew what the frick was up with him. You never understood that he was struggling. I mean, you can make so many people laugh. Like I make people laugh every day. My friends are always happy to see my smile, but sometimes I just put on that smile. I really do. I put it on so that no one knows the pain I'm actually feeling. And my ex used to tell me when I was depressed, like right before we broke up, that I I told him that I was depressed and I actually felt like killing myself. And I've already attempted suicide quite a few times. And he told me, and I quote, to get the fuck over it. You have no reason to be sad. But honestly, Robin Williams didn't have a reason to be sad. He was an amazing guy. He touched millions of people with his words and his comedy and his movies. And I just, when I heard about it, like I was at work and I started crying. Like I saw it on the TV. And like depression is a serious thing. And I wish he would have known that he wasn't alone, because when you're at that breaking point, when you're at that moment of feeling like there's nothing else there, you don't care about anything else. Like, my mom, she never understood why I was so depressed. She never understood the feeling, and she's been through a lot of shit, and she always got through it. So, she never got it, and at one point, my uncle's wife died of the same condition that my mom has. And she was standing in the bathroom, and I walked in, and she looked at me and like dead in the face, and she told me that she finally understood how I felt, that there was like no way out, and that death is going to happen. And she told me that if she is going to die, she wanted to do it on her own terms. But I told her that it's going to get better, and that it's always a temporary thing. You can get through it. And she's still kicking today, and she's still amazing mom, and she's now an amazing grandma. And she thanked me a few weeks back for talking to her about it. She looked up stuff. She looked up what depression is and how it affects people. She found out about people that self-harm at age 50. And no one ever looks at that. Everyone thinks that self-harm is just something that teenagers do because they're sad about their lives or they hate their parents. It's not that at all. And I'm so sad for what happened with Robin Williams. He was an amazing guy, and I wish he wouldn't have been suffering the way he was, but I really hope he's in a better place now. I hope that it's everything he ever wanted it to be, and more, but I wish he was still here. And I've had a lot of friends that have passed away because they didn't think that their life was worth living, and I still suffer from depression. Some days I just sit there and I listen to extremely sad music and I think about it, but then I realize that there's more to live for than just me. I mean, it's really selfish, but in that moment it's not. You think everyone will benefit from it. you think that you're going to benefit from it. And I'd much rather die of natural causes than take my own life and know that everyone around me is going to blame themselves because they could have done something about it. And that's like, I think the worst thing about suicide is that the people that are left behind, that loved you and cared about you, always wonder about what they could have done. And last time I attempted suicide, my blood pressure was 33/11, and I OD'd on my father's medication, heart medication, and I was in the hospital, and I was still, awake, and my dad came in with a little laminated piece of paper, and his son died of suicide when his son was 16, and he looked me dead in the eyes, and he told me that he just didn't want me to be another piece of paper like Bobby was. I think that really hit me hard, because I realized that they weren't out there to just get me. Like, they actually cared. And the thing about all that is, like, at the breaking point, you don't think anyone does, but people really do. They really care. And I've learned that, and sometimes I get in those slumps, but I won't be selfish and take my own life, because I can't imagine what other people would do or say, or how other people would react. And I'm just so saddened by the Robin Williams thing. I just can't get over it. I just wish he was still here, and I am actually going to be starting a support group in Green Bay, Wisconsin, to make people aware. I'm participating in the Be the Light walk against suicide this September in De Pere, Wisconsin, and I just want everyone to know that I love you all, and that you have a reason to be around, and you have a reason to live.